Casino Royale is directed by Martin Campbell, written by Robert Wade, Neil Purvis, and Paul Higgis, and it stars Daniel Craig as James Bond 007, Eva Green, Judi Dench, Mads Mikkelsen, The Origins of James Bond. This is a movie that has a very strong, very tight three-act structure, not only in a narrative sense, but also in a character study sense. In this movie, how we start and how we end is such a different perspective of Bond that we have ever seen. We start this movie with Daniel Craig literally in his first missions as James Bond, and how this movie showcases James Bond as this cruel, cold-blooded, silent assassin going on a mission is something that we had never seen before. Throughout this whole film, Bond just goes on his missions no matter what. He doesn't care about anything else. He's always chasing something. He's always chasing someone. There is always a purpose to every chase and every action sequence there is in this movie. This movie starts black and white, and I think that was a brilliant touch. Both the assassination that we see in the beginning, seeing Bond killing this man with little to no words, and then a quick shot of this man and his family as Bond kills this guy in his office, and then we have an amazing bathroom fight sequence in which we see the formula being twisted with the action scene integrating the gun barrel and the blood into the initial credits, which showcase one of the best Bond songs of all time. Daniel Craig is my favorite Bond of all time, and I'm not going to talk about the slack he got when he was announced back in 2005. This man emphasizes who Bond is. This man, throughout the film, and all the other films, no matter the quality of the films overall, he nails every single characteristic of Bond. He's suave, but he's a believable assassin. You can tell why people would fear this man. You can tell why women would fall for this man. He is so charming, while at the same time there's another layer of intimidation on him. You look into this man's eyes, and there is so much in there. There's one scene near the beginning of this movie where he is on a mission and he's trying to get some information out of this woman and he tries to seduce her. He gets his info and he gets out. It's not Spectre where he sleeps with Monica Bellucci, and we'll talk about if I ever review Spectre. I love how this movie transitions from one layer of Bond with its impeccable action sequences in the beginning, and then we go into the secret agent. We meet Vesper Lynd, which is the greatest Bond girl ever played by Eva Green. Just the initial scene of them meeting on the train.
I'm the money.
Every penny of it.
It emits sparks off the screen. Their chemistry oozes off. It is so freaking great. The second act of this movie is mainly set in Casino Royale during the poker game where we have Bond and Le Chiffre, the man he's trying to get at. Le Chiffre is and will always be for me an underrated Bond villain. We get to know Bond quite a lot in this film, no matter if you have ever had Bond movies before, but Le Chiffre has such a humanity to him. This is not a mustache-twirling over-the-top villain who wants to conquer the world or has a grand scheme planned. This is a man who is as in much danger as any other man would be, hero or villain. This man is a human character, arguably a more human character even than Bond. This is a guy who is in debt to people that we don't get to know much about, and we don't need to because they are even more dangerous than he is. This is a man with something at stake. He has something to fight for, and it's not necessarily something personal with Bond. This is a man that was on a mission of his own, and granted, he is a villain given the story that he sets himself in. This movie and the script have such great subtleties when it comes to both these characters and studying them psychologically and what they have both at stake in this game. And this is not a poker game. that is just one scene and they're done. This is a game that takes layers, that takes time, that builds on the suspense and the tension and on the stakes there are in this, and what this will give into the plot of the film and into the evolution of these characters. The first part of this game ends up and we have the collision of the storylines of Le Chiffre and Bond, as Bond starts to take out and fighting some men that were after Le Chiffre. And here we get something that is not big, doesn't seem very important, but we get Vesper Lynd helping Bond. This woman also has stakes. This woman also feels like she has something to prove. She has blood on her hands. She has something to do in here. Not only because the plot demands it, but because it matters to the character and matters to both these characters. And we get this incredible scene of Bond and Vesper in the bathtub, vulnerable as we've ever seen them, just silently. We have a camera panning out on them. It's a beautiful, beautiful scene that says a lot. We never get to see Bond cleaning himself up after he takes someone out. But in here we do. We never get to see Bond so vulnerable as we've seen him right here, and as we'll see him later in the film. Up next, we get the second part of the game where we have Le Chiffre completely cleaning house. He basically owns Bond in this part until he poisons him to take him out, because Bond represents his threat. Le Chiffre wants to take him out. He poisons Bond, and Bond goes into his car and he gets the defibrillator and he cures himself and he comes back to the game completely owning Le Chiffre with just this.
I'm sorry. That last hand nearly killed me.
And then we go on to see Bond win the game. But he does win the game until Vesper is kidnapped by Le Chiffre. He goes after him, and then we have this incredible scene where Vesper is in the middle of the road and Bond has to turn because he doesn't want to run her over, and we have an amazing car flip sequence. This was no CGI, this was no cuts. We have a car flipping over and we see it whole in all its ugly beauty. Director Martin Campbell knew not to cut in here because we don't need to cut in here. We don't need to see this from many camera shots. We need to see the car crash in all its glory. And now here comes the scene that when I saw this movie at 13 years old, holy shit, 10 years, it hurt. And it still hurts. And I have seen this movie about 100 times and it still hurts.
I've got a little itch. Down there. Would you mind? No! To the right! To the right! Yeah! Yes! 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 Now the whole world's gonna know that you died scratching my balls.
Fucking Christ, I don't ever want to be Bond just because of the danger of this happening. The chemistry of these two in this scene alone is great. We have these two colliding as characters and their ideologies displayed here, and we have Bond keeping that suave characteristic of him as well as a silent type assassin. He doesn't have much to say, and he is an assassin, so he's not going to say much. He's not going to cave in. That's who Bond is. After this, we not only build to the forthcoming sequels of this Bond, but we also display again why Mads Mikkelsen is such a great and underrated Bond villain. Because the guy dies.
Tell them I'll get the money.
Money isn't as valuable to our organization as knowing who to trust.
The guy is not dying at the end. He's not dying at the climax. He's not dying to bring an end to the movie. He's dying because he's collateral, because there is too much in play in here. There are so many pieces moving in this chessboard. It makes it feel all that more real. These are dangers that Bond will eventually have to face. And now we get a tragic love story for the third act, displaying more humanity in Bond. We have this incredible scene where this house is going down into the water in Venice, and Bond desperately trying to save Vesper even after she double-crossed him to get the money that he won in Casino Royale. This is when you get clear all the motivations for character, what they had at stake, how they're going to pay the price for those stakes, and we get the death of Vesper Lynn, again, the greatest Bond girl of all time. And this scene is so good because of the characters and of the actors. We know that Bond is in love with this girl, and we understand why and how he fell in love with this girl. Because of the build we had in the relationship between these two characters, because of that first meeting in the train, because of that scene in the shower that made them so vulnerable and so human. And because of that build and the analysis in character of Bond and of the structure of this film, this becomes an incredibly well done catharsis for the character of Bond. From this moment on, he becomes the Bond that we know Bond to be. The Bond that has this incredible film franchise that has spanned for years and for 24 pictures now. Which is one of the reasons that makes me look into this film as Bond Origins. We have how Bond became the legendary secret agent for Britain. But how this movie concludes is how we make James Bond, James Bond.
The name's Bond. James Bond.
Yeah, notice what started playing at the end there? That was James Bond theme that never played throughout the film. That never played even in the beginning when you saw the gun barrel and the blood. This is an impeccable Bond movie. It is not perfect though. My only gripe with this film is that it becomes too predictable, and as much as I really do like the third act, it is not, to me, up to par with the rest of the film. The first act has incredible action sequences that stun you of how good stunt work they have. The second act displays you the silent assassin of who Bond is, the secret agent, the suave that comes with this character, and also deadliness that comes with this character. The third act feels like it should have had a whole movie to itself. It's not like this movie feels too long, ever. I like how long this movie is. This movie should have ended in a cliffhanger, and instead of Quantum of Solace, we should have gotten Vesper Lynn as a girl on the run and Bond after her, not only because he loves her, but also because of what is at stake, and Bond would feel like he had failed. This is a great Bond movie. This is a great movie. This is an impeccable, phenomenal action film with great characters, with great character work, with great actors playing great roles, with a great story and great cinematography. Seriously, the cinematography in this film is stunning. I love how classy this movie is, I love how sophisticated it is, but that third act could and should have been stretched out a whole lot longer, especially in a movie to its own. Casino Royale stands and will always stand as one of the greatest Bond movies of all time, with the greatest Bond of all time, and Casino Royale definitely is a collector's item. What did you think of Casino Royale, my beautiful geekies? Was it your first introduction to Bond? Thank you so much for voting what you wanted to see in this episode of Geek Classic. I hope you enjoy my review of Casino Royale. Don't forget to keep checking on the Facebook page. There's a link in the description, because over there I will keep on warning you guys whenever a Geek Classic is coming and asking for you to vote. Don't forget to like this review and share with your beautiful friends who like Bond, and tell them to click subscribe and the bell button, and we can be geeky united. Thank you so much for watching, my beautiful geekies. You guys are the freaking best. I love you all. Stay beautiful, stay geeky. Shit!